Do you often find yourself wide awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body just won't let you sleep any longer? Maybe you drift off easily enough, only to snap wide awake in the dead of night, feeling like your internal clock has a mischievous sense of humor. It's a common complaint I hear from so many of you, our wonderful mature audience, that frustrating feeling of being ready to embrace a new day hours before the sun even thinks about rising. Or worse, lying there, feeling completely exhausted but unable to fall back into that peaceful slumber. It's not just annoying, is it? It impacts your whole day, your energy, your mood, even how sharply you think. It can feel like an unavoidable part of getting older, something you just have to accept. But I'm here to tell you a surprising truth. It doesn't have to be. There are very real, understandable reasons why many of us over 60 find ourselves consistently waking up at this ungodly hour. And more importantly, there are very effective ways to gently nudge your body back into a more natural, restful sleep pattern. In this video, we're going to explore the surprising culprits behind these early morning awakenings and, more importantly, share some incredibly simple, actionable habits and adjustments you can make to reclaim your nights and wake up feeling truly refreshed. You might be surprised by how straightforward some of these solutions are. So, make sure you watch right to the very end, because I've got something special that I think will truly surprise and help you. Let's dive right in and tackle the very first, and perhaps most fundamental, reason many of us wake up early: our body's internal clocks, also known as our circadian rhythm, starts to shift as we get older. Think of your circadian rhythm as your body's master conductor, orchestrating everything from when you feel sleepy to when you feel alert, all based on light and dark signals. When we're younger, this rhythm is often quite robust, keeping us on a predictable schedule. But as the years go by, this conductor can become a little less precise, a bit more sensitive to signals that tell it to wake up. One of the biggest signals, and often the most overlooked, is light exposure. I'm not just talking about the sun's rays, but all the light around us. Many of us, especially in our later years, tend to spend more time indoors, missing out on crucial morning light that tells our body, okay, it's daytime, time to be awake and alert. Without enough of that bright morning light, our bodies don't get a strong enough signal to properly suppress melatonin, the hormone that makes us sleepy. Later in the evening, it's like trying to set your alarm for tomorrow morning, but you've forgotten to plug it in. It just doesn't get the message effectively. So, the first habit, and it's a powerful one, is to embrace morning light, and I mean proper, outdoor light. Not just light filtering through a window. Try to spend at least 15 to 30 minutes outside, ideally within an hour or so of waking up. A gentle stroll around the garden, sipping your morning tea on the patio, or even just sitting by a bright window, if getting outside isn't feasible, can make a world of difference. This burst of natural light helps to reset your internal clock for the day, telling your body, right, the day has begun. Let's delay that melatonin production until later tonight. It strengthens your circadian rhythm, making it more likely that you'll feel sleepy at a reasonable hour in the evening and stay asleep throughout the night. Think of it as charging your internal clock for the day ahead. Now, on the flip side of light exposure is how we handle light in the evening. Just as bright morning light is important, dimming the lights as the evening progresses is equally crucial. So many of us are glued to our screens, whether it's the television, a tablet, or a smartphone, right up until we go to bed. These devices emit a type of light, often called blue light, that is particularly disruptive to melatonin production. It's essentially telling your brain it's still daytime, even when it's late at night. Imagine you're trying to wind down for bed, but someone keeps flicking a bright light on and off in your room. It's just not conducive to sleep. Is it? So, the second habit involves creating a truly calming evening routine. Aim to start dimming the lights in your home an hour or two before you plan to go to bed. Switch from harsh overhead lights to softer lamps. And here's a big one. Try to put away those glowing screens at least an hour, or even better, 2 hours before you want to sleep. Instead of scrolling through social media or watching another gripping drama, why not read a physical book, Listen to some calming music, do a gentle crossword puzzle, or simply chat with a loved one. This gives your brain the signal it needs to start preparing for sleep, allowing that all-important melatonin to flow naturally. It's about creating a peaceful, twilight environment for your body to transition into rest. It might feel a bit strange at first, especially if you're used to late-night TV, but the difference it makes to your sleep quality can be profound. We're essentially gently guiding our body's internal clock back to its natural rhythm, preparing it for a full night's rest by managing your light exposure, both morning and evening. You're giving your body the best possible chance to sleep soundly through the night. This foundational step really sets the stage for everything else, building on the power of light. Let's talk about another common culprit that sneaks into our diets and often disrupts our sleep far more than we realize what and when we eat and drink. This is especially true as we get older, because our bodies process things a little differently. You might be thinking, what does my dinner have to do with waking up at 3 a.m.? Well, quite a lot. Actually, two big offenders here are caffeine and alcohol, especially when consumed later in the day. A lot of us enjoy a cup of tea or coffee in the afternoon, or perhaps a glass of wine with dinner. While a little caffeine in the morning can give you a nice boost, that afternoon pick-me-up can linger in your system for hours. Caffeine has a half-life, meaning it takes a long time for your body to fully get rid of it. So, that coffee you had at 3 p.m. might still be circulating in your bloodstream at midnight, acting as a stimulant and preventing you from reaching those deeper, more restorative stages of sleep. So it's like trying to turn off an engine, but you keep giving it a little bit of fuel. It never quite settles down. So, the third habit is to be mindful of your caffeine and alcohol intake, particularly as the day winds down. Try to cut off caffeine by early afternoon, say 2 or 3 p.m. at the absolute latest. If you enjoy a warm drink in the evening, switch to decaffeinated tea, herbal infusions like chamomile, or warm milk. Similarly, while the nightcap might feel relaxing in the moment, alcohol actually disrupts your sleep cycle. It might help you fall asleep initially, but as your body processes it, it often leads to fragmented sleep, frequent awakenings, and less time in the crucial REM sleep stage, leaving you feeling tired and unrefreshed even if you spend hours in bed. If you enjoy a drink, try to have it earlier in the evening and limit the amount. Giving your body several hours to process alcohol before bedtime can make a huge difference in staying asleep. Now, beyond what we drink, let's consider what and when we eat. Many of us enjoy a substantial dinner, often later in the evening. Eating a heavy meal, especially one rich in fats or spices, close to bedtime forces your digestive system to work overtime when it should be winding down. Your body is busy processing food, rather than preparing for rest. This can lead to discomfort, indigestion, or even acid reflux, all of which are powerful signals to your brain to stay awake. Imagine trying to relax and drift off to sleep while your stomach is doing a vigorous workout. It's just not going to happen peacefully. So, the fourth habit is to try to eat your last substantial meal at least 2 to 3 hours before you plan to go to bed. This gives your digestive system ample time to process the food and quiet down. If you do find yourself feeling a little hungry before bed, opt for a light, easily digestible snack, like a small banana, a few almonds, or a piece of whole grain toast. Avoid sugary snacks, as they can cause a spike and then a crash in blood sugar, further disrupting sleep. Think of it as giving your body a chance to clear the decks before it sets sail for a night of deep sleep, and closely related to what we consume, especially for those 3 a.m. awakenings, is managing nighttime bathroom trips. It's a very common reason for waking up, and while it might seem unavoidable, there are often simple adjustments that can help. Our kidneys are typically less active at night, producing less urine, but factors like excessive fluid intake too close to bedtime can override this natural process. So, the fifth habit focuses on strategic hydration. Of course, staying well hydrated throughout the day is essential for overall health. But try to front-load your fluid intake earlier in the day. Aim to drink most of your water and other beverages before, say, 6 or 7 p.m. After that, you can still have sips if you're thirsty, but try to avoid large amounts of liquid. This gives your body a chance to process the fluids before you lie down for the night, potentially reducing the need for those disruptive trips to the bathroom. Also, consider elevating your legs for a little while in the evening if you experience swelling in your ankles or feet during the day. Sometimes, that fluid can re-enter your circulation when you lie down, increasing nighttime urination. A simple elevation for 20-30 minutes can help with this by adjusting your diet, managing your caffeine and alcohol, and being smart about when you hydrate. You're addressing some of the most common physical triggers for those unwanted early morning wake-ups. These changes can seem small individually, but together, they create a much more sleep-friendly internal environment. We've talked about how light impacts our sleep, and how what and when we eat and drink can surprisingly keep us awake. Now, let's consider some other crucial elements that often fly under the radar, but have a massive impact on whether you sleep through the night or wake up at that dreaded 3 a.m. One of the most important is how we move our bodies, and just as important, when we move them. We all know exercise is vital for health, and it absolutely is for sleep too. Regular physical activity can deepen sleep, reduce stress, and even help regulate our internal clocks. However, the timing of that activity is key, especially as we get older. Our sixth habit is all about smart movement. Engaging in vigorous exercise too close to bedtime can actually be counterproductive. When you exercise intensely, your body temperature rises, your heart rate increases, and your brain becomes more alert, releasing stimulating hormones like adrenaline. This is fantastic during the day when you need to be awake and focused. But it's the exact opposite of what you want when you're trying to wind down for sleep. It's like trying to read a calming book in a busy gym. Your body is just too revved up to truly relax. So, aim to get your more vigorous workouts done earlier in the day, ideally at least 3 to 4 hours before you plan to go to bed. This gives your body ample time to cool down, for your heart rate to return to normal, and for those stimulating hormones to subside. Think a brisk walk in the morning, a swim at lunchtime, or a strength training session in the early afternoon. If you enjoy evening activity, opt for something very gentle, like a slow walk around the block, some gentle stretching, or relaxing yoga. These activities can help signal to your body that it's time to unwind. Rather than revving it up, it's about aligning your physical activity with your body's natural need to prepare for rest. Next up, let's talk about your sleep sanctuary, or rather, your bedroom environment. It's astonishing how many subtle things in our bedrooms can be conspiring against a good night's sleep. And for many of us, as we age, we become even more sensitive to these environmental cues. So, the seventh habit is to optimize your bedroom. Think of your bedroom as a cave, cool, dark, and quiet. First, temperature. Our bodies naturally experience a slight dip in core temperature when we're falling asleep and during the deepest stages of sleep. If your bedroom is too warm, it can disrupt this natural process, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Aim for a room temperature somewhere between 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, or 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Experiment to find what feels most comfortable for you. But generally, cooler is better. Second, darkness. Even a sliver of light from a street lamp, a digital clock, or a charging phone can interfere with melatonin production and disrupt your sleep cycle. Invest in blackout curtains. Use an eye mask, or cover any glowing lights from electronics. The darker, the better. Third, quiet. Unwanted noise, whether it's traffic outside, a snoring partner, or even household creaks, can jolt you awake or keep you in lighter stages of sleep. Consider using earplugs or a white noise machine, which can create a consistent, soothing background hum that masks sudden disruptive sounds. Making your bedroom a true haven for sleep can dramatically improve your ability to stay asleep past those early morning hours. Finally, and perhaps most profoundly, let's address the often unseen culprit that keeps us awake: our minds. As we get older, we might find ourselves with more on our minds, worries about health, family, finances, or simply the day's events replaying themselves. This mental chatter can be a powerful disruptor, especially in the quiet hours of the early morning. When we wake up, our brains can immediately jump to problem-solving mode or begin replaying worries, making it impossible to drift back to sleep. So, the eighth and final habit is to practice calming your mind. This isn't about magical thinking, but about gently training your brain to release the day's concerns. Develop a wind-down routine that includes something calming for your mind. This could be journaling for 10 to 15 minutes a few hours before bed, where you simply jot down any worries or to-do lists, effectively getting them out of your head and onto paper. This signals to your brain that these thoughts have been acknowledged and don't need to be processed while you're trying to sleep. Another powerful technique is gentle mindfulness or meditation. There are many simple guided meditations available online that can help you focus on your breath, relax your body, and quiet your thoughts. Even just 5 minutes of deep, slow breathing before bed can make a difference. If you do wake up at 3 a.m. and find your mind racing, resist the urge to immediately check the time. Reach for your phone or start worrying. Instead, try a simple breathing exercise. Breathe in slowly for a count of 4. Hold for 7. And exhale slowly for 8. Repeat this a few times. Often, this simple act of focusing on your breath can pull your mind away from anxious thoughts and gently guide you back towards sleep. And remember, sometimes if you can't get back to sleep after 20 minutes, it's better to get out of bed, go to another room, and do something quiet and non-stimulating, like reading, until you feel sleepy again. Then return to bed. This prevents your brain from associating your bed with wakefulness and frustration. So, there you have it. We've explored how our natural body clock interacts with light, how our diet and hydration affect our sleep, the surprising role of exercise timing, the importance of a well-optimized sleep environment, and the profound impact of our mindset. Each of these insights offers a practical, gentle way to reclaim your nights. Remember, you don't have to implement everything at once. Small, consistent changes truly make the biggest difference to your sleep and, by extension, your entire well-being. Imagine waking up naturally, feeling genuinely refreshed, ready to embrace the day with energy and clarity. It is absolutely achievable. Don't let those early morning awakenings define your nights anymore. Take these simple steps. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every small improvement. We're all on this journey together towards living our best lives at every age. I'd love to hear which of these tips resonated most with you, or if you have any of your own sleep secrets that have worked wonders. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could help someone else who's struggling. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more practical tips and advice to help you live a vibrant, fulfilling life. Here's to many more peaceful nights and energetic days. Live your best life at every age.